I again am so honored to be able to host this program and bring to you one of the founding fathers of epigenetics here to guide us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome, Dr. Wallach.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. What a very kind introduction. Thank you so very much. And thanks for John T. for setting everything up. And thanks for our whole team and our family of viewers and watchers and members and so forth. And I really enjoy coming on every Friday because it gives me a kind of a constant interface with people out there. And the thing that I want to remind people of, and you brought it up, that I'm considered one of the two fathers of the science of epigenetics, and which is a replacement for the science of genetics. My thesis, which is based on a $25 million grant from the National Institutes of Health, was sent to the Center for the Biology of Natural Systems at Washington University, and I was a pathologist on the project. Did 20,000 autopsies in a 10-year period, and it found that there were no genetically transmitted diseases, there are no genetically transmitted birth defects, they're all nutritional deficiencies. And that's what my thesis for that postdoctoral fellowship, kind of like a PhD degree, was in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure because I started a new science along with Bruce Lipton, kind of like Lipton tea guy. He's a neurologist, and he had the same ideas that I did. And it's one of those things that you have to appreciate that there is, we have a wonderful book called Epigenetics. We have a 2 CD set with the history of epigenetics, and everybody needs to read the book and view or listen to the 2 CDs, because you'll know far more than most medical doctors out there. With the exception of antibiotics, which can kill bacteria, all pharmaceuticals just treat the symptoms. They do nothing to cure the disease. They just treat the symptoms. People say, oh man, I'm going to leave everything in my will to my doctor. I was in pain for 30 years and he gave me these new opioids, and in 3 minutes time, I was pain free. I just love my doctor. I'm going to leave him everything in my will. And then 2 years later, the doctor gets $100,000 because he had to do a double knee replacement on the guy because his osteoporosis kept getting worse. Okay. And don't worry about it, insurance will pay, kind of thing. And then here comes the COVID thing. Our immune systems are in our bone marrow. Our bone marrow makes our white blood cells, including the T lymphocytes, which are the biggest warriors amongst all the white blood cells, the T lymphocytes, and then also the stem cells that make antibodies and red blood cells and platelets. But the bone marrow requires an enormous amount of nutrition to pull that off. So you have to eat nutrition, right? Well, my doctor says I don't need to take any vitamins and minerals because I can get everything I need just by eating well. Well, that would be like saying, my mechanic said I don't need to put oil in my car. It's $3 a quart now. I'm not going to put $3 a quart, 6 quarts of oil in my car. No. I'm just going to put dirt from Texas or Oklahoma in there. There's bound to be some oil in it. Now, an insane person would not do that to their car. But when a doctor says, oh, just eat well, you can get everything you need, don't waste your money on vitamins. People beat their chest, say, my doctor says that I can get everything I need just by eating well, and then you die. Okay, the average lifespan of high-end trauma surgeons, this is from CDC just a couple of months ago, trauma surgeons is 57. Well, that's hardly a goal, okay? And there are no medical doctors amongst the super centenarians, people 110 years of age and older. You'd think they'd have a high number if they were doing everything right and knew what to do, that they would have a high number. There's very few centenarians who are medical doctors, let alone I don't believe there was any super centenarians over 110. Okay. And so you have to appreciate that. Now let's keep digging and looking here. We know that our bodies and our bone marrows, our immune system, require 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And again, I'm the guy that put that together, and that's why I'm considered, along with Bruce Lipton, one of the two fathers of the science of epigenetics. So everybody really needs to get that book and the 2 CD set. And then a couple of months ago, I gave a Zoom seminar to Singapore, and they sent it out on their Zoom at the same, simultaneously to 7 other Asian countries and they translated it into each of those languages to those countries is really quite a beautiful thing. So we have that CD available. It's called the Manchurian Prescription. And I don't know if you remember the movie and the book, The Manchurian Candidate. It was about two American soldiers, one officer and one sergeant, who were captured during the Korean War. And they were brainwashed for 2 years by the North Koreans. So when the war was over and they got out, they ran for offices, but they were pushing the North Korean agenda because they were brainwashed. Okay. And so that's where the movie and that was a true story. So that's where the movie and the book came out, The Manchurian Candidate. So that's why I call this CD the Manchurian Prescription, because the prescription for all these diseases is incorrect. The question a person needs to ask their doctor when he writes a prescription, oh, thank you for this prescription, doc. I have to ask you a question. Yeah, what's your question? I need to know, do you have any kids in college and is their tuition due? I want to know why I'm getting this prescription. Why can't you just get rid of my problem? Oh, you have a genetic disease. You have to appreciate this goes back to 1882. This goes back to 1882, Rebecca. Okay, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, Pearl Street in New York City on the bluff overlooking the construction of Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison Johnson Lees pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. Now, within 10 years, everybody had converted from wood stoves, fireplaces, and fire pits to electricity, and they lost all their nutrition. What? Well, that's because everybody was using the wood ashes from the wood stoves and the fireplaces and fire pits to put in their gardens. And then grandma, I used to have to save a cup aside for grandma every morning. I'd put the rest of the wood ashes every morning into the garden, which are minerals left over if you burn the carbon in the wood. And suddenly now people are getting all these weird diseases. And this was at the time when genetics was becoming the darling of science. So everything they didn't know about, they just said, oh, it's a genetic disease. So all the diseases which were nutritional deficiencies because they had to give up their wood ashes, which was their nutritional mineral source, suddenly now they have all these diseases. They say, oh, they're genetic. They're not genetic. They're just simple nutritional deficiencies. And it took 100 years for me to find it out.
So Dr. Wallach, it seems so easy to blame something on genetics.
Well, yeah, it was an escape. The doctor didn't want to say, well, you know, I have no earthly idea. Give me a little bit of time. I'll look around, see if I can find somebody that knows anything about it. They wouldn't say that. They would just say, oh, you have a genetic disease. And I get people call me all the time, Rebecca, who say, yeah, we got 5 generations in our family with type 2 diabetes. My doctor says it's a genetic thing. I say, you need to immediately change doctors because your doctor is extremely ignorant and he'll wind up killing you. I actually have a CD entitled, Is Your Doctor Killing You? With these sorts of things. Okay. Type 2 diabetes is a very simple nutritional deficiency disease. Okay. And that's why we have the healthy blood sugar pack. You get off all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat butter. And notice you take 2 doses of the healthy blood sugar pack a day per 100 pounds of body weight, and keep taking your blood sugar as you're supposed to. Don't cold turkey off your medication if you're on medication. But as your blood sugar begins to drop, you can slowly wean off your medication based on the numbers. Usually within 2 to 6 weeks, you're totally off of it. Even if you've been a diabetic for 30 years and 30 days, you're not diabetic anymore because it's a nutritional deficiency disease. Okay. For instance, if you have an iron deficiency anemia and the doctor keeps giving you blood transfusions, you know, clinically you're okay because you have lots of red blood cells, but you're not making it anymore because you don't have enough iron for your bone marrow to make red blood cells. Okay. So you know people, or you've heard of people, have to go to the doctor once a month to get an iron shot, B12 shot, or a transfusion or something like that because they have low red blood cells and low platelets, that kind of stuff, low white blood cells, low antibodies. And so doctors like to give them transfusions and bone marrow transplants and everything. And all they have to do is get off all the bad foods and take the 90 essential nutrients and all be good in 30 to 60 days. Same thing is true. You know, I get so many calls about prostate, you know, from prostate guys, you know, they get into their 30s and 40s and 50s, they start having problems with urination. Oh, the doctor said, oh, you have a prostate problem. I'm going to give you some drugs for that. And we may have to do an operation to remove it. Well, 99% of the time when you have a urinary problem, you're urinating too much. It could be a blood sugar problem. It can also be a low back issue, squeezing the nerves that control the bladder. Okay, and not the prostate. And so if there's no cancer there, we will get people on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the MSM, vitamin D3, some collagen, glucogel. And I would also throw in for males, the ProstFX, 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. And then also I'd throw in the Zera test, which is the raw materials for the Sertoli cells in the testicles to make testosterone. And if women are having a urinary problem, you can't blame it on a prostate problem. Okay.
This is true. This is true.
So we're going to give them all the things we said to the guy, except for the ProstFX, but we also, and the Zera test, and we'd also give her the Zerafem, 3 of those twice a day, but all the other stuff to rebuild the disc and the cartilage and the ligaments and tendons and rebuild the back, and the urinary problems usually go away. Another problem I hear is people who say, man, I'm so sleepy all the time. I just fall asleep in the middle of the day. I said, okay, tell me what happens at dinner at night, dude. When you get done with dinner, what happens when you go sit down and watch TV? Oh, within a half hour to an hour, I'm asleep. In the old days, they would have called that narcolepsy. And today we know that it's actually reactive hypoglycemia. Okay. You take in food and sugar, carbohydrates, your body releases insulin, and it drives your blood sugar down if you don't have all the proper nutrients to maintain everything properly, and you fall asleep. Again, the old days are called narcolepsy, and today it's reactive hypoglycemia. And this is what causes these weird head-on collisions you see all the time now on TV, in the news. Well, we don't know why, but this 19-year-old, driving a Lamborghini crossed the center line and killed a bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. And they tested her and she didn't have any drugs in her and blah, 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 blah. Well, she fell asleep while she was driving because she had reactive hypoglycemia because she was deficient in these nutrients. But a doctor will never look for the nutritional deficiency. Now, it's a mineral, so you can find out by getting a hair analysis. It's very simple, okay? And so that's what I would do is if I was that girl's parents, this just happened, I think, last night or a day or so ago, I'd get a hair analysis and find out if those minerals are low. If they are, then the lawsuit against this girl for crashing needs to go against the doctor and not the girl and her family, because she was that way for a couple of years and he was just giving her drugs, to hype her up so she wouldn't fall asleep. So
That's crazy.
With that said, do we have 5 minutes to give a little update on the COVID thing?
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute update on that. It's something that's around the world, and I know everybody has concerns about it. In fact, I have some questions already about it as well.
Okay, well, just briefly, the rate of infection has gone down a little bit, about maybe 20%. Okay, the rate of infection has gone down a little bit. But right now in America, as of this morning, our rate of infection, from COVID, we have 29,928,925 infections. Within 3 days, at the rate of new infections, new diagnoses, it'll be over 30 million infections. Okay, dead, we have 543,755. Okay, we have over 500,000 infections. There's 400,000 dead in the Arlington Cemetery, military dead from the Civil War on to now, 400,000 dead. That's, a long time ago, over 100 years ago. Well, here we have in 1 year, based on Fauci's directions, distance yourself, put a mask on, and wash your hands. We have, in a couple of days, it'll be 30 million infections and 543,000 dead. And he still has his job. I just find that amazing. Okay, so let's keep looking here. When you look at the countries that do well and don't succumb to the COVID infection, who don't succumb to the pandemic virus, let's look at Vietnam as our core ideal. They have 96 million people. They have almost 100 million people. They have 35 dead and 2,500 infections. Let's look at Germany, a European country with 83 million people, a little bit short, but close. They have 2.4 million infections and 70,000 dead. Is 70,000 dead, Rebecca, more than 35? Not 35,000, but just 35.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a huge amount.
yeah.
Huge
And
amount.
what about, yeah, well, what about 2.4 million infections versus 2,000 infections? Is that a difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so why is it that Vietnam has so few infections and deaths, and a European country like Germany with 10 million less population has so many more? Well, it's their diet. Vietnamese are the classic Asian country. They live on nothing but rice and maize, corn, sweet potatoes, beans, squash, and seaweed. The Germans are a classic European country, and they live on nothing but wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Okay, let's make another comparison here. Let's look at the United States versus Canada. Let's get closer to home here. Let's look at California versus Canada. They both begin with CA. Okay, let's go to California and Canada. They both have about 38 million people. Okay, and California has 3.6 million infections. 3.6 million infections, and and 300, yeah, 300, no, oh, I'm sorry, here we go. They have 54,000, there we go, 54,888 dead. California has 3.6 million infections and 54,888 dead. Now, Canada, with the same population, has 22,000 infections. Is 22,000 less than 3.6 million?
Yeah, that's just a fraction. Dr. Wallach.
Yeah. Okay. And so what about 872,000 infections? Is that less than 3.6 million? Yeah. Okay. And then 22,000 dead versus 54,000 dead. So what's the difference between Canada and California? They're both kind of North America. Well, California has 39% Hispanics in their population and 8% Black. Both populations, it's not a genetic thing, it's not a racial thing, it's a cultural thing, it's what they eat. Canada only has 2% Latinos and like 0.9% Black. So it's what they eat that's causing the problems. Okay, let's look at another one here. Let's look at Mexico, close to home, with all these migrants coming across the border with the COVID-19. Let's look at Mexico versus Japan, and the classic Asian country versus the classic Hispanic country. They both have 127 million people, and Mexico has 2 million infections. Japan has 432,000. Mexico has 185,000 dead, and Japan has 8,000 dead. So what's the difference? Well, Japan lives on rice and sweet potatoes and beans and maize and seaweed, and Mexico lives on wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And I guarantee you, the dead ones in Japan are ones who live around military bases, US military bases, and so forth, and they're eating like Americans. They're eating French fries and oatmeal for breakfast and breakfast of champions and spaghetti and that kind of stuff. Whereas the classic Asians are not going to have that. Let's look at a couple more here real quickly. Let's look at Florida versus Taiwan, a classic Asian country and classic sort of southern cooking American country. They both have about 22 million people. And Taiwan has 9 dead, just 955, not even 1,000 infections. Florida has 1.9 million. Okay, 1.9 million infections and 32,000 dead. Why the huge difference? Well, Florida is 40, 50, 60% Latino, Black, and indigenous peoples, depending on what county you look at. And it's their diet again. It's a cultural thing as opposed to a racial thing. One more, let's just look at Texas versus Vietnam. Okay. Texas, of course, has about 1/3 of the population of Vietnam, 96 million in Vietnam, and 28 million in Texas. And Texas has 2.7 million infections. Vietnam has 2,000. Texas has 461,828 dead, and Vietnam has 35 dead. why the huge difference? Okay, and Vietnam has 3 times the population that Texas does. Well, again, Texas has 40, 50, 60% Latinos, Blacks, and indigenous peoples. Okay, and as a result, and of course, Texas is like also 39% Hispanics, and I think they're like 15% Black, and a couple of percentage points the indigenous peoples. So it's a cultural thing. It's not a dietary thing. It's not a racial thing. I can take a Black guy and feed him like a Asian with rice and sweet potatoes and seaweed and maize and so forth, and give him the pandemic virus and he'll do very well. Okay. I can take an Asian person and feed them like somebody who's from the Black ghetto in New York, and they will die just looking at the label on the bottle with it.
Dr. Wallach, I've just been crunching a few numbers here and doing percentages because that's just where my background is. And, you know, overall California, the percentages compare very similar to worldwide. So where you have, and it's about anywhere between 1.5, 1.7% of the people that are getting infected are actually succumbing to the virus. And 1.5 doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when you look at those numbers of people that are actually getting infected,
millions,
comparisons,
yeah,
it's just incredible, Dr. Wallach, that having simple changes as far as diet
yes,
can significantly reduce the occurrence, even though
here's
the
why.
death rate percentages are equivalent, but the occurrences are so massively different.
Well, here's why. Remember, your bone marrow is your immune system. White blood cells, antibodies, red blood cells, platelets, and you have to absorb nutrition, which is required by the bone marrow to make all those things. Now, the intestine of a healthy 3-year-old, okay, it looks like a shag rug when you open it up. Okay, when they get the COVID, they get a mild common cold-like symptoms for 3 days. Their body temperature goes up from 98.6 to 99. They can't even class that as a fever. And in 3 days' time, they have all the antibodies against the virus, or they're protected for life, and they're good to go. Or somebody who's 33, 43, 53, 63, 73 get it. They've been eating gluten for all these years, and those little villi in the intestines are gone. Instead of looking like a shag rug now, their intestines look like a plastic tube. They've lost 98% of their villi, and even if they supplement, they can't absorb very well. Okay, and so their bone marrow dies. And that's why they get anemic, and they have low platelets, and they have to have transfusions and bone marrow transplants and iron shots and all that kind of stuff. It's not a genetic thing. It's not an age thing. And every doctor who treats somebody with those symptoms that way and not give them the 90 essential nutrients and put them on a gluten-free diet should go to jail. Okay. Now, I've got one more here. Nigeria. I understand we have a lot of Nigerian people who are on the show today. So let's quickly look at Nigeria and Brazil. About the same population. They both have about 208 million people. And I really spent a lot of time looking up the reasons for this. I checked out Nigeria. Almost 100% of their population is Africans, tribes. I mean, they got so many different tribes in Nigeria. It's very interesting. And when you look at Brazil, they're 50% white. They're almost 50% mulattoes, a mix of the local people, Black people, ex-Black slaves and X kind of stuff, and the white folks. And then they have indigenous peoples, and they have one of the largest populations of Asians, Japanese outside Japan. So let's look at their numbers. Okay. Brazil has 11 million infections and 264,000 dead. Nigeria has 158,000 infections and 2,000 dead. 2,000 dead versus 264,000 dead. 158,000 infections versus 11 million. Well, what's the difference? Well, Nigeria lives on rice and maize, corn, sweet potatoes, beans, and squash. And they live on the western side, the western coast of Africa. So many of the peoples there eat a lot of seaweed and kelp and that kind of stuff. And the Brazilians live almost entirely on wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Again, it's a dietary thing. It's not a racial thing. And it's so dramatic with these two populations so close to each other. Yet Brazil's in South America, and Nigeria is in Africa. And so, I mean, the discrepancy in the numbers of infections and deaths, even though they have the same populations, is solely because of diet and culture, not race.
Yeah. So I have many people that are in Nigeria that I have as friends and business partners. And I got on Zoom the other day with Uchi, and she gave me a tour of her kitchen and the foods that they eat and everything from her kitchen in a refrigerator. I'm thinking, I'm coming to visit, and I might not leave, as if it was just incredible. And here are, even with me being intentional, it doesn't compare. It does not compare. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I need to learn to cook better, I think.
Well, again, the only way you can guarantee you're going to get the 90 essential nutrients is a supplement with them. See, we don't have health. There you go, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of drinking colas and stuff like that, when we exercise, you want to use our Rebound or a sports drink with 100 nutrients in it, 75 minerals, right? And so it's one of those things. And so again, people need to avoid the bad foods so their villi will stay alive so they can efficiently absorb all the nutrients they're going to take. And then you need to supplement. Now, as I started to say, Rebecca, we don't have health insurance for animals. We might have life insurance for expensive racehorses, but we don't have health insurance. Now, farmers would go broke if the doctors had to come out and visit the farms and treat, cows and goats and sheep and chickens and turkeys and horses and things like that with for diabetes and arthritis and high blood pressure and heart disease and kidney disease and thyroid problems and colon issues, quote, autoimmune diseases, unquote, like lupus and fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have to do that if we didn't supplement them. We supplement the animals in alfalfa pellets with all the 90 essential nutrients in them so they don't get these diseases. And I learned that when I was 9 years old, and that's where I got the idea when I was 9 to begin to make a big issue out of supplementation when I was 9, because none of the animals on our farm were getting sick and all our whole family's getting sick. And okay, it's a big deal. So I figured it out when I was 9 that, we're eating the same thing out of the garden that the animals are. Wait a minute. We're giving them all these vitamins and minerals, and we're not. Mom, how come we're not taking those vitamins and minerals? Oh, you don't need them. Just eat well, get everything you need. Okay, no, we have a problem here. I figured that out when I was 9. And so you do need to consciously supplement. And again, people will pay the wholesale prices if they become a preferred customer. If they want to, they can get an auto ship. I will pay the shipping. If they become one of our associates or business builders, they will, again, get the wholesale prices. And if they get on auto ship, I'll pay the shipping. And also, when they become an associate and they get one of our franchises, it's only $50, and it's a tax break there. I will give them $500 free, Rebecca, $500 free worth of business training materials, which they can pass on to their new people, and also a new website, which they can pass on to their people. Okay, $500 worth of stuff, okay, for free when they sign up for $50, and the $50 is a tax deductible expenditure.
So, Dr. Wallach, when I first heard your story about the nutrition at the age of 9, we actually lived on a small hobby farm, and I went out to our feed barn and I looked at the labels, and I realized, I look at these labels all the time when I'm going to choose which feed I want to give the animals. We had horses and cows and chickens and such. And it dawned on me, why don't I do that for my family too? Because I was so sick and I felt bad. I felt guilty, Dr. Wallach, that I wasn't taking and being so intentional with my own health. I supplemented and thought that was enough. But because of where I was, and you saying, just give me 90 days, I thought, okay, what I'm doing is not working. I need to try something different. And I did. I stopped everything that I had been doing. I started on the supplementation. I stopped grinding my own wheat and making my own breads.
Gluten alert, gluten alert.
Well, I didn't think that, what we're taught is grains are good for us.
Well, you know, when that happened, that was when the electricity thing started in 1882. People began to gain weight when they weren't getting the minerals anymore because they developed a behavior called pica. They get cravings. Frank, you just had a 5,000 calorie breakfast. What are you still eating for? Well, I don't know. I'm just hungry. Okay, it's called pica, P-I-C-A. You can look at even Webster's dictionary gives you the definition of pica, and you gain weight. And so the doctors, about 20 years later, people come in and say, "Bye, doc, I'm 50 pounds heavy here. What do I do?" Well, that's because you're eating too much animal fat, they would say. Get rid of the animal fat out of your diet and eat more whole grains. And as soon as they said that, they should have put the cuffs on them and put them in jail, because they have killed more people than all the wars put together with that statement.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I'm glad that I am no longer there. I'm glad that I found information that actually works, that's benefiting myself inside and out, benefiting my husband and my kids. Totally different lifestyles that way. So Dr. Wallach, let's go to COVID again and some of the questions that we have about that.
Okay.
So RS is 58-year-old male, 5'6" and 150 pounds. And because of travel reasons, he's forced to be vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. He's against all vaccinations. And he wants to know, is there a way to clean the body after vaccination?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. Well, first of all, I think the vaccines are safe. Okay. It's one of those things where they have tested them and tested them and tested them. And so I believe they're safe. There's a few people that have died immediately, but when they're taking a needle out of them, and that's because they had underlying problems. They get a blood clot someplace because, you know, all of the, what do you say, the trauma and fear and everything like that, they get a blood clot and they die and they blame it on the vaccination. Okay. You can't blame it on the vaccination because they just got it, right? It's their underlying problems. These people who die of COVID usually have 8 or 10 or 12 underlying pre-existing conditions: high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, arthritis. These are all things you can figure out yourself. You don't need to go to a doctor to get a diagnosis of obesity. Get on the scale. If you're 25 pounds overweight, you're obese. You don't need to go to a doctor for that. You don't need to go to a doctor to see if you have diabetes. Go to the pharmacy for $1.50. You don't have to sit in a waiting room with people coughing COVID all over you. Okay. And get a test strip for $1.50 and pee on it and see if you have diabetes. This is very simple stuff. Okay. And so I travel probably more than this guy. Okay. Millions of miles a year and all over the world. And so I had to learn how to take all these 90 essential nutrients with me in a form. That's why we came up with these sticks, you know, these little sticks that have a dose, and you have to tear off the top and pour it in a bottle of water, because I couldn't take all our liquids and everything because they're too heavy and everything. So they wouldn't let me on the plane. But I take my 90 essential nutrients. I stay away from all the bad food. No matter where I go, I don't just eat the local food. I stay away from the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, oats. I take my 90, and I take the killer biotic. Okay. I take the colloidal silver. I put, let's see here. I put 2 droppers full under my tongue, 30 minutes before each meal and 30 minutes before bedtime. I also use our hand sanitizer. I mean, lavishly. I kind of put it behind my neck, on my face, and so forth, on my hands and arms when we're traveling, and so on. And I'm 82 years old and I don't have any problems. I'm not afraid of COVID because my bone marrow is good, because I haven't eaten gluten in 73 years. My bone marrow is working like crazy. Okay. If I were to give a doctor a blood sample and he'd look at it, he said, "This is not yours. This came from an 18-year-old kid." Okay. Well, that's me.
Well, and I know when you travel, Dr. Wallach, you get a lot of hugs.
I know. And so I'm exposed to a lot of stuff. Okay. The hugs I enjoy, but I do get exposed to some of the bad stuff. And so I have to protect myself from that. And I make sure that my bone marrow is making all the white blood cells, all the platelets and red blood cells and antibodies and so forth. And I'm taking my 90 so that my intestines can absorb it. I don't need any gluten, and I'm good to go. And everybody's the same. When you look at the people who are super centenarians, 110 years old and older, it's a dietary thing. It's not a racial thing. Okay, it's a dietary thing. These are people who, for one reason or another, ate a certain way, and they lived in a certain area. Because there's some places where they didn't take any vitamins and minerals, but they had a lot of minerals in their diet, like in Hunza. The oldest recorded and documented person was Dr. Lee Chen Yun, who died at 265 years of age. Nobody wanted to believe that. So a guy by the name of James Hilton, may be familiar to you, James Hilton, he wrote the book and the movie Lost Horizon, and he came up with the name Shangri-La, where people live forever. Right. And that's because he tracked this Dr. Lee Chen Yun, okay, and he traced him to Hunza, which has that valley called Shangri-La, and it's not a mythical place, it's a real place. Yeah, the oldest average people on earth, it's 165 years of age in there, okay, and they have the record for longevity. And when you look at these countries of supercentenarians, it's sort of in a certain place. Now, I don't know if you remember here, just a few months ago, or maybe even just a month ago, there was this French nun, Sister Andre, okay? She turned 117 years of age, and she came from the Pyrenees district of France. And so I looked it up, and guess where the Lourdes mineral springs are?
Right there.
Right there, okay? So I don't know if she was going and jumping in naked, probably not, but I guarantee you she was drinking the water, because that's what they do there, okay? Now, she is right now the oldest living person in America, the 7th longest lived person on earth. The longest lived person right now is a Japanese woman by the last name of Tanaka, and she's 118, a supercentenarian. And I guarantee you she either lives near the coast and she's eating seaweed and rice and all that kind of stuff, or she lives near a volcano in Japan, which is not uncommon. And when you look at the blue zones, when you look at the Nicoyan Peninsula of Costa Rica, which is one of the blue zones from Dan Buettner, you know, there's 5 places on earth where a lot of people live to be over 100, have the highest rate of 100-year-olds. Well, the Nicoyan Peninsula has 61 volcanoes.
That's a lot of ash that gets spread out.
A lot of minerals, right?
Yeah.
And so and so that's why they have so many long-lived people. It's not because they have the best doctors in the world, okay? And then when you look at Okinawa, that's another good one. When you look at Okinawa, let's say compared to, let's look at Okinawa compared to the Navajo Indians. The Navajo Indians only have 331,000 people in their main reservation, and Okinawa has 1.4 million people. It's one of those islands off of Japan, okay, seaweed. So the Okinawans have 8,000 infections and 120 dead. The Navajos have 29,000 infections and 1,170 dead. Okay, and that's because the Navajos live on wheat and the Okinawans live on rice, sweet potatoes, maize, and seaweed.
Well, the Navajos have been sadly influenced by the standard American diet.
Well, that actually started in 1860. The Scots, when they came, they bought their way into the Navajo areas and didn't get killed off like everybody else did by giving them wheat. They taught them how to make these deep fried flatbreads made from wheat, 1860. And that began the downfall of the Native Americans. With the exception of the Ojibways, we have 0 dead and only 27 infections. I just looked that up last night. It hasn't changed. That's because they've been living on wild rice for 400 years. They have not eaten anything but wild rice and the algae from the Great Lakes of Minnesota for 400 years. Remember, these are indigenous peoples.
Right.
But they're eating like Asians. And so they get the immunity response of an Asian as opposed to the immunity response of a Native American, which eats wheat, barley, rye, oats. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
So let's go back to something else that you had mentioned, because Norval and Joseph both have questions in regards to colloidal silver. So they're wanting to know the benefits and the side effects of colloidal silver, because I know
Okay.
there's some controversy about it. That's only if you have like super high doses.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be drinking a pint a day, but two of the little
Dropperfuls?
these little dropperfuls here. I'm gonna mess up my papers and squirt out. Yeah. Okay, 2 of these droppers full, okay, under your tongue, 30 minutes before breakfast, 30 minutes before lunch, 30 minutes before dinner time, 30 minutes before bed. I've been doing that for 25 years. Now, when you get too much silver, one of the first indicators that you get too much silver, your skin turns blue. Literally turns blue. Okay, so I don't look blue, I don't think.
No, don't look blue to me.
Have a little bit of that California sun. I get out and sit in the sun without a shirt and glasses and hat and anything. Even though it's only 60 degrees, I'll sit out there for a half hour, face the sun, and get sun every day because I know the sun's good for you. Vitamin D3 is good for you, but I also take my vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day, just as a hedge. Okay. And so, you know, like everything, you can drink too much water and die of, you know, dilution of your enzymes in the body and everything. So you can drink too much water and die. You can drink too much colloidal silver and die. But you don't hear of it because whatever. But at any rate, the reason you do this, of course, colloidal silver kills everything when it comes to bugs, viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. People say, I have candida. Well, use our pink Himalayan salt to get your stomach acid up. You don't want a neutral or alkaline stomach. You want it to be a little bit acid so you can digest proteins. But also, if you're having candida and belching and burping and bloating, you could have an alkaline or a neutral pH in your stomach, and bacteria will grow in there and generate gas. Okay, and so the colloidal silver will kill the bugs, and colloidal silver kills HIV, Asian flu, kills things like let's see here, polio. It kills every kind of bug you can think of, including H1N1, SARS, MERS, COVID-2, and COVID-19. It kills these things, okay? And so I've been taking it for 25 years, okay, just to keep, because I'm out so much in meetings and, like you say, getting hugged by so many people and everything, you don't know what they're carrying. So instead of being rude to them, I just take my colloidal silver, and it works.
So now you had mentioned yeast, Dr. Wallach, and that actually goes right into my first question. And Mr. Hastings is 5'11", 300 pounds, 50 years old. And he wants to know how to get rid of systematic yeast infection. So he's
okay. The first thing he needs to get rid of is his doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Because if somebody's 5'11", weighs 300 pounds, he's at least 100, 110 pounds overweight. Okay. So he doesn't have any nutrition because he's eating gluten. What do you mean not nutrition? I'm 100 pounds overweight. Well, I'm getting lots of nutrition. No, you're getting lots of calories because you have pica, because you're deficient in those minerals, PICA, that behavior that makes you eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Okay. So the first thing he needs to do is get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, and oats, no sugar. And then I want him to have 3 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything with each meal. It's 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. He also needs to take let's see here. He could take, well, let's just go with 2 healthy brain and heart packs, and 1 at breakfast, 1 at dinner time, a dose. And then a third meal, just use one of our keto caramel meals. You did that, and you lost 95 pounds, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he could take the keto bar. Okay, I think I have one here somewhere. Probably.
They're tasty too.
Oh yeah, I may have eaten it. Okay, but at any rate, the keto caramel bars are a shake. One meal a day. Doesn't have to be the same meal every time. Does not have to be the same meal every time. Okay, and so I moved it or ate it. Okay, but at any rate, that keto caramel bar, and he will lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. Okay, now I do want him to eat like an Asian. He's got to live on rice and sweet potatoes for breakfast this morning. Here's my breakfast, and he could do that. And I only weigh 142 pounds. I have 2 slabs of smoked sockeye wild salmon, okay, from Alaska. These slices are the sort of diameter of a slice of bread, but they're only about 1/8 of an inch thick. Then I will have 3 big scoops of wild rice, not fried rice, can't have fried rice. You can have wild rice, white rice, yellow rice, red rice, white rice, doesn't matter, but no fried rice. And I had 3 big scoops of the wild rice. I had 3 soft poached eggs, yolk soft. And let's see here, salmon, rice, eggs. Okay.
Did you
and
have any sweet potato today?
I had it for dinner last night. I had sweet potato for dinner last night. I usually have sweet potatoes once a day. Okay. And I'm just looking on my plate here, reminding, that's about what I ate. And then of course I take all my supplements. Okay. And, I know what I had. I had 4 Baby Bell cheeses. Okay. Normally I will have yogurt, but we ran out of yogurt. So I had 4 Baby Bell cheeses. Okay. And so that was my breakfast. Now for lunch, I'm going to have a big salad. Okay. With carrots and beets and onions and tomatoes, lettuce and cucumbers and stuff like that. But I'm also going to have maybe a couple of lamb chops. Okay. And then for dinner time, I'll have a gluten-free pizza with a cauliflower and rice flour crust. It has 4 cheeses on it and 8 different vegetables and things. And then I'm going to put a couple of more slabs of that smoked salmon on top of it. That's what I'll have for dinner.
There's a lot of things that we can eat and be gluten-free and not have it boring.
That's right. I mean, and kids, you say you can have pizza, but it's got to be gluten-free pizza. Okay. And so it's not like they can't have pizza. Now, on the 2 days that I don't have pizza at dinner time, because I'll have pizza 3 nights a week, but the 2 days that I don't have pizza at nighttime, I'll have pizza for breakfast for those 2 days. Okay. And then at nighttime, I do have a glass of red wine and 1/3 of a pint of ice cream. I like butter pecan, pistachio, cherry vanilla, green tea, that kind of stuff. Gluten-free. It's got the big gluten-free symbol on it, and it says gluten-free on it.
Now, getting back to Mr. Hastings, Dr. Wallach, with the systematic yeast itself, so we've addressed the weight. What can he take to get rid of that yeast infection?
He needs to take the salt, right? He needs to take our pink Himalayan salt on his food, so he can acidify his stomach. I want him to take 2 of the ultimate enzymes, like 5 to 10 minutes for each meal with a couple ounces of water. We call it the gallbladder in a bottle, and it'll help him with all kinds of stomach belching, bloating, burping, and pain, all kinds of stuff. But he also needs to take the colloidal silver. And the nice thing about it, in the beginning, he won't be able to absorb anything because he's been, I'm sure, eating a lot of gluten and this and the other, and that's why he's got his problems. But the colloidal silver is absorbed in your mouth. It never makes it into your esophagus. Okay, so it's almost like an intravenous injection when you put it in your mouth. Okay, so you don't have to be able to get it down to your stomach for it to work.
So I know, and I love the fact that, especially because the vessels are so close to the surface under the tongue, you put something like that under your tongue. On the skin itself, you put something on your skin, within 26 seconds, it's absorbed into the bloodstream. And here we're getting really close to the bloodstream immediately with that colloidal silver. So that's,
it's almost IV.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So how many dropperfuls do you think he should use, and how often?
I start him out with the colloidal silver, 2 droppers full under his tongue, 30 minutes for each meal and 30 minutes for bedtime. And then do that for a couple of weeks. And then if he wants to, he can try going up to 3 droppers full or something like that. But I start out with 2, which I do. And I'm 142 pounds. I'm half his weight. And I have had no problems in 25 years. I haven't turned blue yet.
All right. And I haven't turned blue yet either. And I use it often. So I don't think I'm blue. I don't know. All right. Well, Dr. Wallach had almost an hour full of some great information. And I just want to thank everybody. We have a lot of hands going up, a lot of questions in the comments. And, you know, it's so fantastic to plug into you, Dr. Wallach, every Friday. So thank you, everybody, for being part of the Ask Doc live show. That is absolutely fantastic. Let's go to our first hand, Dr. Wallach. And
Let's go.
we have Sybil, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Sybil, go ahead
Yeah.
and unmute yourself. Fantastic. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Sybil.
Oh, you got muted again. Try again.
Hello, hello.
She's here. There we go.
I didn't even touch it.
Okay.
Just go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I got a question in regards of my high cholesterol. I'm a diabetes 1 since 2018.
Wait a minute. Stop.
Yeah.
How old were you when they diagnosed you as diabetes 1?
I was misdiagnosed for 2 years as a diabetes 2. And then finally they did a blood test and found out that it's diabetes 1. I was
Okay,
50.
Stop. Okay. Were they giving you metformin? Were they giving you an oral diabetes pill?
They wanted to give me, but I didn't want to take it. So I never took anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, here's the deal. Type 1 diabetes is diagnosed at birth. How old are you?
Now 59.
59. Okay. And how much
Yep.
do you weigh?
145.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'6".
Okay. So that's all good. Do you have any other issues? High blood pressure, arthritis, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do I see a little gray in your hair?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs? Okay. How did I know that? Because the same deficiency, now listen to me, the same deficiency that causes gray hair causes varicose veins and spider veins. That's not a factor of aging. It's a nutritional deficiency. Okay. Now, type 1 diabetes is a birth defect you're born with. It's not a genetic thing, but mama's missing something when the beta cells are being formed in the islets of Langerhans, the pancreas, that make insulin. And so the baby, instead of having 6,000 of those cells in there, they only have 6. And so the baby doesn't have enough insulin. Immediately at age 1 day, they'll diagnose, because they're going to be taking blood samples and all this, and they will diagnose them immediately as type 1. It's actually a crime when a doctor will take somebody who is 59 years old and diagnose you with type 1 diabetes. It's a crime because they want to milk your insurance policy. Okay. What's happening here is you have a gluten problem. You've been eating oatmeal for breakfast. Yes.
I'm gluten-free for 5 years.
Okay. But for 5 years. So for 54 years, you're eating gluten.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 54 years, you've been eating gluten. And everybody in your household, the dog, the cat, the bird, the fish, spouse, renter, roommate, kids, grandkids, everybody's got to be drop dead gluten-free. Otherwise, you're not gluten-free. You can go to a restaurant and say, I'm only going to eat salad. I'm not going to eat the gluten in the spaghetti factory. I just got to go with my grandkids. Well, the woman who's delivering your salad to you also is in the kitchen and delivering spaghetti to everybody else in the place. And so she's cross-contaminating. Okay. It's that sensitive. Okay. The odds are you're not a type 1. The odds are you didn't respond to oral medication because guess what? You couldn't absorb it because your intestines are dead from eating gluten for 54 years. Okay. And then they say, oh, you're type 1, and they give you a shot of insulin. Oh boy, your blood sugar just drops like a rock. See, there you go. You need to be taking insulin for the rest of your life. And the doctor goes home, does a high five with his wife, says, hey, we can pay the tuition for the college this month.
Right.
Okay. So basically, what I want you to do is this. Don't drop off your medication. Okay. But I want you to test your blood sugar regularly like you should. What was your A1C? Did they tell you what your A1C was?
6.1.
I'm sorry?
6.1.
Oh, 6.1. Okay, that's good. 6.1 is good. It's better than 12 or 20, which I've seen. Okay. But we want to get you down below 4. And so with all this going on here, what I want you to do is stay on your medication, but I want you to test yourself regularly like you're supposed to. And as your blood sugar begins to come, I'm sorry?
I have a glucose monitor.
Okay, good. And I want you to, as the blood sugar comes down, reduce your medication based on the numbers.
Medication. Just insulin. I shoot insulin.
That's medication.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to reduce your insulin dosage as your blood
Right.
sugar levels go down.
Yeah.
Okay, if your blood sugar, is 60, are you going to take the same amount of insulin as if your blood sugar is 200? Of course not. Okay, so as your blood sugar comes down, you reduce your insulin. Don't cold turkey off of it, okay?
Right. Right.
And you won't be a type 1 diabetic very long because you're not a type 1 diabetic. You need to switch doctors immediately. Okay, so either he's a crook or he's stupid. In either case, you don't want him to be your doctor. So now at 145 pounds, what I want you to do is take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Take a full dose of everything twice a day. Remember, no bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat granules, no sugar. Then I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you to get 2 bottles of our sweeties. You can take 3 of those sweeties twice a day. Okay, they're designed to support and promote healthy maintenance repair of everything going on with sugar. Okay, good, perfect. I can tell from the purpley red top. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Then I also, at your age, do you have any tinnitus or ringing in the ears?
Sometimes a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any balance or dizziness issues?
When I get up,
Sometimes. Okay. Have you lost your sense of smell or taste?
no.
Okay. Do you ever have any fast heart rate or irregular heart rate?
Yes.
Do you ever have any hiccups?
Once in a while, not very often.
Yeah, but you have irregular heartbeat. Do they tell you had AFib or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. How did I know all this? This is the first time I've ever seen you. Okay. And that's because you're showing all the signs of osteoporosis of the skull. When you have osteoporosis of the skull, you're squeezing the cranial nerves. When you squeeze the cranial nerves, you get all these symptoms. Okay. When you're squeezing the auditory branch of the eighth cranial nerve, you get tinnitus, ringing in the ears. You get balance problems when you're squeezing the vestibular branch of the eighth cranial nerves. When you have AFib, atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat, don't let them do surgery on you. Do not let them do surgery on you. Okay. Your brain, your skull is being squeezed where it makes the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which controls the rate and rhythm of the heart, also produces hiccups and a dry, unproductive cough called COPD. And you get terrible stomach pain called gastroparesis, and they think you have gastric ulcers. Did he ever say he had ulcers?
No.
Okay, but anyway, do these things, and don't forget the MSM. Throw 3 of those in twice a day. Help rebuild the skull and all the bones and cartilage. Don't forget the vitamin D3. 3 of those twice a day to do the same thing. And don't forget our gluten. Gluten, collagen. Okay, collagen. Don't forget the collagen. Don't forget to throw in our glucogel. That's something. Glucogel. Take 5 of those capsules twice a day, and you'll rebuild your skull, and all these symptoms will go away. They'll all go away. Okay.
Wow.
So call us every 2 weeks. Your story is going to save a lot of people because you at age 59 are showing the very typical pre-existing conditions that occur when people have been eating gluten for 54 years. Okay. Okay. So you're going to be a great help to literally thousands of people. Call us up and let us know when you get off your medication finally, because your blood sugar is normal without medication. Let us know when your heart rate becomes normal. Let us know when your dizziness goes away, the ringing in the ears goes away, all that kind of stuff. You are going to have a great testimony. Okay. Thank you, Sybil.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Dr. Wallach, we are at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. I just
Okay.
want to thank everybody for being part of our Ask Doc Live program here today. And again, if somebody has invited you to this program, get back with them. Make sure that you ask them the questions and say, hey, where do you get your products? I want to get some of the things that Dr. Wallach mentioned, and I want to make sure I'm getting them from the same place you get yours. So make sure you get back with them. So everybody, I will be right back, and Dr. Wallach will be right back. Don't go away. You are on with Ask Doc Live. All right, thank you everybody for allowing us to have that quick little break, and there'll be a couple more minutes before Dr. Wallach gets back, but I do want to take care of some of the I don't know, the paperwork. There you go, paperwork in regards to the Ask Doc Live show. So I know that we have a lot of people on here that are current customers, that are distributors, and also the new people. If you are brand new and you were not recommended to watch this program by anybody specific, we do on the AskDocLive.com website have a store there that's available for your use. We have all of the products that Dr. Wallach is mentioning on the program, and we have all of the video recording. If you weren't able to write as fast as Dr. Wallach speaks, you can go back to the recording and you can watch it, stop it, write, and get all of the information that's needed. Especially if you hear somebody who has or is experiencing things that are very similar to your own. Where Dr. Wallach's research has discovered that there's over 900 different diseases that are specifically related to mineral deficiencies. Whenever you give the body the raw ingredients that it needs, the body can do amazing things. Again, the products are not intended to heal or cure, but your body was divinely created to do those things, but it has to have the raw ingredients to do so. We have on that AskDocLive.com website the 10 good and bad foods that Dr. Wallach speaks of very frequently. Those are there as well. And we also have all of Dr. Wallach's most popular books. You can find them on the AskDocLive.com website as well. And a contact us. So if you've never, or if you have questions that you would like to have asked on the air, or questions by one of our certified holistic health coaches, we have a team that's standing by to help answer those questions as well. You can always use the contact us to write in to get information about protocols and also the business opportunity. So that's available. But most of all, I want you to get back with the person that invited you to this program. So as soon as I see that Dr. Wallach is back, then I'll go ahead and get him. Oh, he is back. There he is. So Dr. Wallach, if you don't mind unmuting yourself, then let's go to the next hand that we have up, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
And that is Sherry Ann. Sherry Ann, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Doc Wallach. It's a pleasure to speak to you.
Well, thank you. Good to talk to you. How can I help you?
I have a grandson who is 15 years old. He weighs 195 pounds and he's 5'11" and has just been diagnosed in the last few months with sudden onset grand mal seizures.
Okay. Does he have anything else going? Does he have any skin problems or bowel problems? Does he have constipation, diarrhea? Does he have eczema, psoriasis, anything like that?
No, nothing like that. His only other diagnosis a couple years ago was for ADHD, and he started medication at that time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, he was showing deficiencies a couple of years ago when he had ADHD. Okay. And they gave him medication. They didn't give him any nutrition.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, so he needs to stay on his medication, obviously, at this point. But at 195 pounds, he needs to get rid of all the bad foods. Everybody in the household needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat bran granules, no sugar. And does he play basketball or anything like that? Or did he? Or
No.
no?
He plays
Okay.
in a band.
A band. Okay, good. What instrument does he play?
Trumpet.
Trumpet. Oh, beautiful. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so obviously he's a talented kid, and so he'll be very smart and know what to do. So he needs to stay away from all the bad foods. If he wants to get better and get off the drugs and have a good long life, he's going to have to stay away from fried foods, processed meats, oils, glutens, wheat, butter, oats, and sugar. No cheat meal per month. Okay, that's like, oh, I shoot myself in the head once a year. Okay, so no bad foods. Okay, then at 195 pounds, I want him to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. A full dose of everything at breakfast and dinner. I also want him to have our MSM. He can take 3 of those twice a day. That's 1 bottle a month. Vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. Then he also needs the collagen. If he wants the liquids, he can get the 2 quarts and take an ounce twice a day. If he wants the pills, he can take 2 bottles of those, take 5 twice a day. I take the pills or the capsules because I have to fly a lot and I can't take the liquids, are too heavy. Then I also want him to have what we call our de-stress capsules. Okay, this is specifically for brain stuff. Okay, I want him to take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. I want him to take our Synaptive, take 3 of those twice a day. The Synaptive capsules are designed to give the brain cells what they need to make the biochemistry necessary for the cells to talk to each other. Okay, then I do want him to eat 3 eggs twice a day, so with soft yolks. 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. And hard-boiled eggs won't help. They won't count. They've got to be soft yolks. People don't realize this. I don't even think doctors know it, that 75% of your brain weight is cholesterol. Okay. And so if you're on a low cholesterol diet and everybody's eating low cholesterol, trying to say, no, it's not cholesterol that clogs your arteries. Remember, I've done 32,000 autopsies. My thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. Okay, so I'm not speaking just out of ignorance or some kind of wacky theory, okay? The things that cause plaque in your arteries, which is in your brain, your heart, your kidneys, every place else in your body, are oils. Olive oil, salad dressings, that kind of stuff. Got to stay away from that. Use lime juice on your salads and that kind of thing. Or you can go to our Savor division. We have a lot of safe salad dressings and our salt. Doctors say don't use salt. They should be put in jail for that. Salt is required for so many reactions in the body. And one of the things that happens is when you're low in salt, you're going to have cravings. You're going to get obese, okay, if you restrict salt, because you're looking for salt. And so, well, I'll just eat something and satisfy my cravings. Well, if you just salt your food, you wouldn't have the cravings. So doctors create a lot of customers that way. Okay. But anyway, he stay on his medication. And then after a couple of weeks or something, he knows how he feels. And he said, I haven't had any sort of pre-seizure symptoms here for a while. I'm going to cut my medication by 5% or 1% or something, don't miss a day, but just if it's a pill, saw a little piece off the end of it and save it so you can use it as part of a dose, a week later or something like that. But if it's a capsule, you can dump out just a little bit each day, but don't do that in the beginning. Do it after you've been on the nutrition and off the bad foods, say, for a couple of months. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. And Sherry Ann, did you have a second one as well?
I do. Thank you, Becca. My second question is, I have a 41-year-old daughter who was recently diagnosed with stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer. She is 5'4" and 160 pounds.
Okay, what kind of symptoms does she have?
She had severe stomach pains for 2 years, and the doctors kept passing her around and doing tests that never showed anything except gallbladder problems, and they ended up taking out her gallbladder. And it was after that point that they discovered the cancer.
Okay, is it cancer?
Yes, stage 4.
How do they determine that? I mean, has it gone someplace else or?
It has spread to her liver.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, first of all, when people have these stomach issues, let's see here, even at 41 years old, did she ever complain about ringing in the ears?
No.
Did she ever complain about balance problems?
No.
Did she ever have hiccups?
Not that I can remember her complaining about.
Okay. Okay. Did she ever complain about her hands and arms and fingers and stuff like that? Numb, tingling, burning, anything like that?
That might have been occasional.
Okay. Yeah. Well, one of the things she has certainly is osteoporosis of the skull. And if you can get me a copy of the diagnoses, of the pathologist when they looked at the brain cells, okay, the biopsy or whatever. Yeah, I'd like to see that. And so You say it's gone to her liver?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's what she needs. 160 pounds, right? 160 pounds. I want her to have 2 healthy brain and heart pasture months. She got to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rhinos, no sugar. Okay. And so the 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything twice a day. She needs, I'd have her get 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 with each meal. That's going to help her rebuild her skull, rebuild her connective tissue, support her immune system. I want her also to have 3 of our vitamin D3 capsules twice a day. That's 3 in the morning, 3 at night. That's 2 bottles a month. Even Fauci said that's good. And then we have what we call the gallbladder in a bottle, okay, which is our ultimate enzymes. It replaces the gallbladder when you have gallbladder removed, right? And so it's going to help her absorb and digest foods better. She's going to take 2 of those ultimate enzymes, say 5 to 10 minutes for each meal. She'll go through, say, 2 bottles a month of the ultimate enzymes. And because she does have, at least she's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, which means it's going places. We want her also to have our BTT 2.0 tablets. It supports the immune system a lot, okay? I want her to take 3 of those twice a day. And then I also want her to have our Fucoid Z capsules, also supports the immune system when you have cancer specifically. Take 3 of those twice a day, Fucoid Z, okay? Now, let me ask you a quick question. I'm going to save you a lot of time and money, okay? If she gets an auto ship on these things, I will pay the shipping. Then number 2, are you on our programs? Are you on our programs
Yes,
yet?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you color your hair?
Yes.
Do you have varicose veins?
No.
Do you have spider veins in your legs and feet?
It looks like they might be trying to start.
They're thinking about it. Okay. Yeah. Well, the
They're
same thing
thinking.
that causes gray hair and white hair causes spider veins and varicose veins. The same thing that causes white hair and spider veins and varicose veins also causes aneurysms, the same deficiency. Okay. So you need to be on 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Take a full dose of everything twice a day. Your hair color will actually begin to come back and those spider veins will go away. And that tells you, okay, and the same thing for your daughter. It's going to help her liver, her immune system, all those things we've talked about. And, you know, she's got to go full bore. She's got to send the entire army after this thing if she's got stage 4 cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, Sherry
Thank
Ann.
you very
Sherry
much.
Ann. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
And thank you, Dr. Wallach, for going over those so thoroughly with her. I know she appreciates that. Next, let's go to a question that I have that was emailed in, Dr. Wallach. And this question is coming from Linda. She's 5'4", 130 pounds. She has severe chronic ischemic disease called Paget's disease, and also has a non-obstructive 5 millimeter colloidal cyst. Right now, the only thing that's bothering her is a limp on the right side due to nerve and muscle loss on that side. She's interested in what your suggestions are for her.
Well, the first thing is Paget's disease has been changed to Wallach's disease because Paget
Okay.
thought this was a genetic thing. Okay. And it's really just a nutritional deficiency thing. Okay. So Paget's out the door, but it's the same disease. Okay. Paget's disease is when your skull goes from being a normal 1/4 inch thick to 1 inch thick. And it squeezes all of the spinal nerves and the spinal cord going through the tunnels because all the tunnels, whether they're for the spinal nerves or the spinal cord, they get 50% smaller and they begin to squeeze the nerves. So she's going to have all these weird symptoms, okay? Ringing in the ears, balance problems, Bell's palsy, trigeminal neuralgia, loss of the sense of smell and taste. She'll have, quote, carpal tunnel syndrome, unquote. She'll have all kinds of crazy stuff going on in her legs and arms and feet and so forth, which she describes here, okay? And what was the cyst? I didn't know where the location of the cyst were.
She didn't say, but she says it's non-obstructive 5 millimeter colloidal cyst.
5 millimeter. Okay, that's the size of a pea. Okay. Okay. Yeah, colloidal cyst. I don't know what that means. Okay.
So what would we recommend for the Paget's disease itself?
Okay. Well, at 130 pounds.
Wallach's disease. Excuse me.
Wallach's disease. Yeah, Wallach's disease. Now, how old, let's see here. What's her age?
62.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that goes along with the Paget's disease because it's an osteoporosis of the skull. She needs to get a hold of the book. It's all in your head, so she understands it. Okay. The book is all in your head. That covers Paget's disease. It's a squeezing of the entire system because the entire skull is an inch thick now instead of a quarter inch thick. Okay. And because it happened in families a long time ago, Paget thought it was genetic, like an early discussion. He thought it was, well, if it's in everybody in the family, it's got to be genetic. No, it's because they all had a lousy diet. Okay. Okay. So anyway, she needs to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, no sugar. Then I want her to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month because she's only 130 pounds. I want her to get another bottle of our selenium. One bottle of selenium will come with the healthy brain and heart pack, but I want her to get an extra bottle of our selenium because it has it has 5 cofactors in there, which is going to help her rebuild her skull quickly. So I want her to take 3 of those selenium, our selenium, not Walgreens selenium, our selenium, twice a day. Then I want her to also get MSM, bottle of MSM, so you can take 3 of those twice a day to help rebuild the skull. I want her to take vitamin D3, take 3 of those twice a day, so 2 bottles a month, so I can rebuild the skull. I want her to also take our collagen. I take 2 doses a day. She can take 5 of the capsules twice a day or an ounce of liquid twice a day, the collagen. And then she needs to contact us, let us know what the cyst is. I would also throw in some anti-inflammatories here. I would throw in things like Cell Shield RTQ. She could take 3 of those twice a day. Or Fucoid Z, she could take 3 of those twice a day. If she prefers a liquid, or the Fucoid Z, she could get our Z Radical. It tastes good, even little kids like it. It's made from about a dozen different types of seaweed and all the weird trace minerals that come with the seaweed. And it really, really, really supports the immune system and gives the bone marrow a lot of stuff. This is a gal who's going to be in trouble because her bone marrow is not going to be doing well when you have Paget's disease, because that's not the only place she's got osteoporosis. Every bone in her body is suffering from the same thing. Okay. And when all these bone marrow cavities are half the size and they're dead because her villi are dead because she's eating gluten, not supplementing, you can see how you get this whole panel of things happening. And doctor said, well, I'm going to send you to my golf buddy. I mean, my consultant here, who is a orthopedic surgeon to deal with your bone issues. And I'm going to send you to the neurologist for the Paget's disease, AKA Wallach's disease. And then I'm going to just deal with you as a general patient. Okay, so that's how they work. Okay, at any rate, this is all reversible. And again, she's only 62 years old. I see this in 30-year-old people, 60-year-old people, 70-year-old people, 80-year-old people, and it all goes away if you do everything right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Next, let's go to our next hand that is up. So RS McQueen, if you could go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on
Hello?
live with Wallach.
Good morning,
Hello.
Dr. Wallach.
Hello, how can we help you?
I actually earlier placed a question about COVID vaccine, and you kind of answered my question, telling that the vaccine is quite safe. However, would the vaccine affect anybody with any pre-existing conditions? Like I do suffer because of ulcerative colitis.
Okay, now stop. Ulcerative colitis is a gluten problem. You got to get off of gluten. Okay, you're committing suicide if you keep eating gluten. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Okay, ulcerative colitis is one of the major classic diseases that occur when you have a gluten problem. No gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. No gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, and oats. How much do you weigh?
150.
150. You see, the odds are your bone marrow is dead, and you're not going to respond. If you get the vaccination, you're not going to respond to it immediately. Okay, and the reason is, your bone marrow is dead because your intestines are damaged because you're eating gluten, can't absorb nutrients even if you're supplementing. So you cannot make white blood cells, antibodies, red blood cells, or platelets. Do you tend to be anemic?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any bleeding problems if you nick yourself shaving, or bleeding on your skin if you bump yourself?
No, sir. If I bleed, it heals very fast.
Okay, good. Okay. Do you have any ringing in the ears or balance problems?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Do you have any loss of the sense of smell or taste?
No, sir.
Any fast heart rate, slow heart rate, irregular heart rate?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So your only complaint really then is the ulcerative colitis.
Yes, sir.
I find that amazing. You don't have any skin problems, no eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, none of that stuff?
I do have vitiligo.
Oh, vitiligo. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, Michael Jackson had that. Do you have white, gray, or silver hair?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 58.
Yeah, 58. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, the vitiligo, loss of the skin color, hair color, and of course, varicose veins and spider veins, and also aneurysms. These are all caused by deficiency of the same nutrient, because even if you're supplementing with it, you can't absorb it because your intestines are dead. So none of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown rice, no sugar. And then at 150 pounds, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose setting twice a day. I want you to take 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so you can take 3 with each meal. I want you to get 3 bottles a month of our vitamin D3, so you can take 3 with each meal. Okay. Then I also want you to take our collagen, take 5 of the capsules twice a day, and then use our collagen peptides at noon. Okay. And then because you do have all this inflammation going on in your intestines and everything, I also want you to take our Fucoid Z. Go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day. If you prefer the liquid, you could get the liquid, which is Z Radical. You could take an ounce twice a day. Okay, but if the capsules are okay with you, I take 3 of those twice a day myself, just because. Fucoid Z, FUCOID-Z. Okay, and then call us every couple of weeks and let us know how it's going. Because if you really clean out your house, don't throw away all the gluten, but don't eat it either. If you have a 6-month supply of oatmeal and wheat and all that spaghetti and all that kind of stuff, because you've been waiting for some terrible thing to happen, box it all up and give it to your doctor with love, and become a Youngevity associate and deduct it off your taxes as a sample to give to somebody. And you're going to have a great story. So do call us on a regular basis. You're going to have a great story because all your issues will go away if you do exactly as I said. Okay.
Absolutely. My following question, going back to the vaccine. So the vaccine, whether I get it or not, would not have any effect on me?
No. Okay. And again, because you have such a terrible experience going on with your intestines, the odds are you're not going to see a benefit from the vaccine. Okay. Because you need to have all the nutrition going to your bone marrow to respond to the bugs, and your bone marrow will not respond to the bugs, even if you're vaccinated, if you don't have the nutrition. So I said this a year ago when they were first talking about this pandemic virus. I said, when they're looking for the vaccination, and the vaccination, of course, it only works when your bone marrow works. Your bone marrow requires 90 essential nutrients. If your bone marrow is dead because you can't absorb nutrition and you're not supplementing, you got a double whammy there. And so I guarantee you that your bone marrow is in trouble and you're not going to have a good response to the bug. People say, well, I took my mom a couple of months ago and she had the 2 vaccines. Okay, she had the type of vaccine where she needed 2. She had her second one. And then 2 months later, she dies of COVID. How could that happen? Well, what did she eat for breakfast? Well, I mean, she's been eating oatmeal for breakfast for her whole life. And how old was she? Well, she's 80 years old. Well, there you go. Okay, you have to be able to absorb the nutrition. So you got to get rid of the gluten. You have a terrible, terrible problem with this ulcerative colitis, which is a direct cause of gluten. Okay, even if you're supplementing, you're not going to get a benefit from the you're not going to get any maximum benefit of the vaccination. Okay.
Okay.
So you need to get on this quickly because you have these pre-existing conditions, and if you do get the pandemic virus, you're going to have a bad outcome.
I appreciate that, Doctor. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, fantastic. And again, everybody, if you hear about any of the situations that are presented today, and you know somebody or you yourself are experiencing similar conditions, get with the person that invited you to this program, and if nobody specifically invited you, go to ask.live.com. If you've never spoken with any of our distributors before, we do have our call team that is standing by at 949-7234. Now, Dr. Wallach, Liz typed in the comments here, she's low platelets and lack of sufficient sleep. So based on somebody 100 years old, I don't have any additional information.
Oh, she's 100.
Sorry, no. Based on somebody 100 pounds. See, we're talking about all these centurions. I've just got that stuck in my head. But based on a 100-pound person, what would you recommend to help improve platelet count and also to help improve sleep?
Okay. Well, both of those are nutritional deficiency issues. Okay. What I need her to do at 100 pounds, or maybe she's 300 pounds and she don't want to say it, so she's saying per 100 pounds. Okay.
I'm saying per 100 pounds. I don't have any additional information.
Oh, okay. So per 100 pounds of body weight, of course, she needs to get rid of all the bad foods. Excuse me, so she can maximize absorption. Okay. She needs to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown no sugar. Then I want her to take per 100 pounds of body weight. I want her to take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. I want her to take 3 of our MSM twice a day. I want her to take our vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. I want her to take 5 of our glucogel capsules. Well, she could take 3 twice a day. Let her take 3 twice a day if it's, per 100 pounds of body weight. If she weighs 150, she could take 5 twice a day of the glucogel. And that's going to rebuild her bones and so forth. And by getting rid of the bad foods, she's going to absorb. Okay. And then again, low platelets. Your platelets are made in the bone marrow cavity. Excuse me. And that's kind of like an early warning signal. If you have low platelets, that means you're not getting enough nutrition to your bone marrow. And because you're not getting the nutrition, and number 2, if you're eating gluten, you're not absorbing the nutrition. Okay, so all that's got to be dealt with. Otherwise, the doctors say, we need to give you a transfusion here to get your platelets up right away. Well, I'm not interested in going in and getting a transfusion and platelets and all that kind of stuff from somebody who knows what they got, right?
Exactly.
And so Liz is going to have to jump on this because she's got one of these pre-existing conditions that tells you her bone marrow is failing, and that's your immune system. Okay, she will not be able to make sufficient amounts of white blood cells and platelets and red blood cells and antibodies, even if she gets the vaccination, because her bone marrow is dying.
So, Dr. Wallach, I have a question that came in from a Facebook message that specifically relates to transfusions. This individual is completely against the COVID vaccine. She does not want it, but and I don't know why she has a fear of having to have a transfusion, but her question is, if she had gotten a transfusion by somebody who had COVID or the vaccine, how is that going to affect her own DNA? Was her specific question.
Well, if her immune system is working and her intestines are working, her stomach is working, she'll digest all that down to nothing.
Okay. So if everything's going the way it's going and she continues to take her supplementation, she has nothing to worry about for the most part.
That's correct.
Perfect. Love it. All right. Let's go to Susan with her hand up. Susan, go ahead and unmute yourself. Uh-oh, we lost Susan. All right. So let's go to a question that has to do similar to what Mr. McQueen had with the gluten. And his question is, and this is Steve Derlurka, if you get off gluten, will the gut immunity ever come back?
Okay, what happens is when you get off of gluten, your intestines begin to immediately begin to regenerate themselves. And having an intestine with no villi, suddenly now the villi will come back. And usually within 2 to 6 weeks, you're 50% home. And within 3 months, all your villi have regrown. Okay, but you got to stay gluten-free forever. You have to take your 90 essential nutrients forever. How long, Rebecca, you need oxygen? How long do you need water? Okay, you need the 90 essential nutrients for forever. Okay, but yeah, you can regrow your villi and your intestines. but you have to get rid of the gluten, and if you throw anybody out of the house who won't get gluten-free, throw them out. If they want to come visit you, make them strip in the front yard and hose them down for 15 minutes before you let them in the house. Because yeah, you're in trouble. You know, if you have low platelets, you're anemic, okay, and your doctors tried giving you iron pills, and I know so many pharmacists, they say they have a line every day of people wanting iron pills and B12 capsules and everything because they're anemic. Well, that's because their bone marrows are dead, because they've been eating oatmeal for breakfast every morning and spaghetti 3 nights a week at Spaghetti Factory, and having pizza every day for lunch, and flour tortillas for breakfast, and then drinking beer on Friday nights made from wheat, and wondering why they're sick.
Right. All right, so here, Susan was able to unmute. So Susan, you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a dear friend I've been helping. He's 72 years old.
What kind of deer is it?
Well, he's a good friend.
Okay.
Good question. He's 72, 300 pounds, 6'3". He had an intestinal bypass a few years ago because he was 400. He's been hospitalized 4 times with pneumonia and got out of the hospital for the 4th time yesterday. He's on antibiotics, but no other drugs. He's been diagnosed now, just yesterday, with emphysema. He's got the products, the heart and healthy heart and brain pack. So what is the recommendation for him at this point? They found that he had an infected toe, but he's very dedicated to changing his life. What should he do?
Okay, well, first of all, he needs to get rid of all the bad foods. This will be forever. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat bran, no sugar. Then at 300 pounds, ideally, because he needs to lose weight, ideally he would take 3 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Okay, 3 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Okay, a full dose of everything at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want him also to get the MSM, get 2 bottles of MSM so he can take 3 with each meal. I want him to get vitamin D3, 3 bottles of that so he can take 3 with each meal. I want him to have the collagen. I want him to take 5 of the capsules twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month of our glucogel. I also want him to take our collagen peptides at noon, okay, to help rebuild his bone marrow and everything, which is his immune system. And let's see here, the emphysema thing, okay, and let's see here, pneumonia. Pneumonia can, excuse me, you can understand. Let me just throw some Colloidal silver down my throat here. Been talking for 2 hours. Good Colloidal silver.
And it's tasteless, folks. There's no taste to it.
Yeah, it doesn't burn or anything. There's no alcohol in it. Okay. So at any rate, then I want him to have 2 of his 3 meals a day, a keto meal, keto caramel meal. Okay. Could be a shake or a bar. Doesn't have to be the same meals every day, depending on the schedule. The bar just takes 30 seconds to pull the wrapper off and eat it. Okay. You have to make the shake. And so use the shake when you have time to be around the house, and use the bar when you have to eat and run. So 2 of his 3 meals, and he'll lose a 1/2 pound to 2 pounds a day. At 6'3", I'd like to see him weigh about 220 maybe. So he needs to lose maybe 80 pounds, 80 to 100 pounds. He's already lost, he said he weighed 400. So he's already lost 100 pounds, that's good. But the bypass thing was totally wrong and unnecessary. But anyway, the pneumonia and the emphysema could be misdiagnosed as COPD. So we need to know if he has ringing in the ears and all that kind of stuff, because the odds are he's got osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing, his 10th cranial nerve, which causes stomach issues. Gastroparesis is called. They think they have a ulcer, very painful. They get a regular heart rate, like one of our callers had today. Also, they get COPD. It's a non-productive cough. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It's a non-productive, non-infectious cough, and doctors will mistake it for emphysema and pneumonia, give antibiotics and everything, and they still wrestle with it because it's a squeezing of the 10th cranial nerve. And along with that, they can get hiccups also, and also AFib, irregular heart rate, or fast heart rate tachycardia. But that's all reversible by following the instructions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. So next, I would like to go to Mike P. So Mike, go ahead and unmute yourself. If you don't mind turning the camera back on as well, that would be fabulous. And you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hey, Dr. Wallach, how are you?
Okay, you're a good looking fella, Mike. Oh,
Just retired a couple weeks ago. Hey,
congratulations.
Yeah, you're from St. Louis. Are you a Cardinal fan?
Well, absolutely.
All right, that's my
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I grew up in Wellston when it was a little farm town.
I don't
Way
know where
back
that
when.
is.
Oh,
But yeah, hey, I've heard all about your farm days too. Anyway, yeah, Cardinal fan since '64. But listen, I got this rash on my neck. I don't know if it's even considered a rash, but it's like it's gradually. It started out like right in this area. It's gradually ringing all the way around my neck. Now, and I have an appointment with a dermatologist, but maybe I don't need it after talking to you.
the odds are you won't need it.
Go up too. You can't
Okay,
see it on this camera.
Okay, well, stop there. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
I get the drill. How much do you weigh, Mike?
Too much. I weigh about 212. I'm 5'10".
Okay. Now, do you have any other issues? Do you have any dry cough, or you ever get hiccups or anything like that?
No, not anything out of the ordinary on either one of those.
Okay. What about ringing in the ears or balance issues?
Not the balance, but yeah, I've noticed a little more ringing in the ears.
A little tinnitus. Okay. Now, do you ever have any bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I take stool softeners and Miralax every other day. So yeah, there's issues with that.
Okay. And any you have skin issues? Do you have skin issues anywhere else?
Yeah,
On your back?
I meant to say that. I have psoriasis on my scalp and other parts of my body, but it's not.
Okay,
like,
well, what you've got on your neck is rosacea. And the doctor's going to say, you might have lupus. You might have an autoimmune disease. Your body might be attacking itself. Did he say that?
No, I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, well, that's what they're going to say. Okay. Well, you've got a gluten problem because it causes bowel problems. It causes skin problems. And the bowel problems are due to a direct contact of the gluten. Gluten has a substance in it called, let's see here, they're pro-inflammatory cytokines, which actually destroy those villi in your intestine, those little finger-like projections. And so you begin to get things like constipation, diarrhea. You get things like colitis, diverticulitis, and so on. Celiac disease, ulcerative colitis. And these are all gluten issues. And then you cannot absorb nutrition. And the rash and the psoriasis are very specific nutritional deficiencies. They're very specific nutritional deficiencies. And they usually, when you get rosacea on the face and the neck, they'll diagnose you with lupus, especially when you have other symptoms, anything going on with your muscles, your back and arms and pain. And do you have any joint pain, anything like that?
No, not
okay,
really.
Good. Okay, good. Well, not really means a little bit once in a while.
I mean, I played handball for 45 years and I got a few
bumps. Yeah, sure. Okay. So here we go. 212 pounds. You need to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown, rye, and oats. And let's see here. You're 5'10", is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at 5'10", I'd like to see you weigh 180. So you need to lose about maybe 30 pounds here. Okay. So I want you to start out one meal a day, or keto caramel meal. It could be a shake or a bar. It doesn't have to be the same meal every day. Then I want you to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, or oats. Okay. If you're going to drink beer, it's got to be Japanese or Chinese beer made from rice. They also have some, I think, beer from Australia, New Zealand that are made from rice. I have a glass of red wine every night, but you also have to watch that because you got to read the labels or call the company or ask people to sell you the wine. The wine's got to be.
I don't drink alcohol, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, but beer, you got to watch it. Scotch, bourbon, those things are all made from wheat, brought around oats. And the old vodka used to be made from potatoes, but now vodka is 95% of vodka is made from wheat. So I got to read the labels and see if it's the old formula or the new formula. Okay. Then I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I want you to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM. So you can take 3 of those with each meal. That's going to help rebuild the connective tissue in your skin, your intestines, your lungs, and all that kind of stuff. I need you to eat 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Hard-boiled eggs won't count. We're going to kind of rebuild your skull. We'll rebuild you. You have osteoporosis of the skull. You really need to get a hold of this book. It's all in your head because it goes into the 25 different diseases you can get from osteoporosis of the skull. It's all in your head. And tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and balance problems, one of them, Bell's palsy, squeezing the 7th cranial nerve, trigeminal neuralgia, squeezing the 5th cranial nerve, loss of the sense of smell, olfactory nerve, gradual loss of vision, even though you don't have cataracts and glaucoma and stuff like that, gradual loss of vision every year or so, they got to change your prescription. That means that you have a squeezing of the 2nd cranial nerve, the optic nerve. And when you get a squeezing of the spinal cord as it's coming out of the skull, you get stuff going on in your hands. You get anything going on in your hands, fingers, trigger finger, anything like that?
No.
Wrist, arms, okay. But you do have, okay, but you got something going on in your toe?
Negative.
Negative, okay. All right, none of that kind of stuff, okay. And so, let's see here, vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day. And the gluten I talked about, 5 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. And let's do that. Okay, now, because it's the COVID time here, I also want you to use our colloidal silver, 2 droppers full under your tongue, half hour before breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime. I also want you to use our hand sanitizer. And don't forget our Fucoid Z. It's anti-inflammatory. It'll very quickly help get rid of that itchy red stuff on your skin, psoriasis on your back. It'll make it go away faster. Okay, it's called Fucoid Z, Fucoid-Z. It's a capsule. If you prefer liquids, we have it in the liquid form. It's called Z Radical. So you could take an ounce of that twice a day, 2 quarts a month, if you prefer the liquid. So give us a call every couple of weeks and give us a testimony, because your story is very common and you will help a lot of people when you give your testimony.
Okay, one more thing really quick.
Yep.
You talk about eating a lot of fish, and I guess you get a lot wild Alaskan salmon.
Yes.
But fish in general, like this from the supermarket, I'm concerned that the ocean's so damn polluted and everything. Is it still safe to eat fish, or if not, are there certain kinds of fish you don't want us to eat?
Okay, I want you to eat fish that's steamed or baked or grilled, not fried. Can't eat fried fish. Okay, nothing fried. And I do eat smelt. Okay, I do eat smelt. I do eat things like herring. Okay, I don't eat pickled herring because they make the pickling stuff is made with wheat. Okay, I do like tuna. Okay, packed in water, which I put on my salads and stuff like that. And so, you know, fish is a good break. I can put the tuna on top of my gluten-free pizza kind of thing. Okay. And so, yeah, I eat fish. Now, the only ones I wouldn't eat are catfish caught downstream from some big factory on a river.
Or Fukushima.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hey, you're a good man. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. God bless you.
Well, God bless you, Mike. And please give us a call every couple of weeks and let us know what the status is. Okay.
Will do. Take care, bud.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Dr. Wallach, we have so many hands up still and questions in the chat. Let's see how many we can get through real quick.
Okay.
Anne has a granddaughter. She's 6 years old, 4 foot tall, and 150 pounds, that has been diagnosed with hereditary fructose intolerance. What is that?
Okay.
And we know things are hereditary, but
Yep.
what would cause it?
Okay, gluten alert, gluten alert, gluten alert, gluten alert. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure she gets when she has fructose, you know, from fruit juices and things like that. She's going to get diarrhea and all kinds of stuff because it makes all the bugs in her intestines happy. Okay, so at 4'11", 6 years
4 foot.
old.
Yeah, just 4 foot, 50 pounds.
Oh, 50 pounds, not 150 pounds.
No.
Okay, I was going to say 150 pounds. Okay, so 4 foot tall. All right. All right. So that's better. Okay. I want her to have one of our healthy brain and heart packs, and she can take half a dose a day. So that will last her 2 months. I want her to take a half a dose a day, and then a half a dose broken into half, so she can take a quarter of a dose twice a day, quarter of a dose at breakfast, quarter of a dose at dinner time. Okay. And then I want her to stay away from all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, iron, oats, no sugar. And then I want her to take one of our ultimate enzymes, say 5 minutes to 10 minutes for each meal, with a little bit of water. So she'll go through 3 or 4 of those a day of our ultimate enzymes. We call it the gallbladder bottle. It's going to help her digest stuff more. Okay. If something slips through. But yeah, she's got a gluten problem. And I would want to know, does she have skin problems? Does she have diarrhea or constipation? You know, invariably people have 20 different things, but they say, I need to ask you about my pain in my left toe. Well, do you have anything else? Well, yeah, I've got diabetes, but I got it under control. I got high blood pressure, but I'm taking medication for that. But so they're only going to ask you one little piece. I'm guarantee you that this 6-year-old girl, if she's got a quote fructose allergy, unquote, she bloats and pops up, you know, with belly pain because the bacteria are fermenting the sugar, because she doesn't have any stomach acid. So she also needs our ultimate, pink Himalayan salt, and she needs the ultimate enzymes. Okay.
All right, perfect. Next, we have Leah. Leah, if you could unmute yourself, you are on next with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Doc.
Hi, how can we help you?
I have advanced stenosis in my vertebrae 3, 4, 5, 6, and they want to remove 2 of the vertebrae. And there's also a problem at the other side as well. I understand.
Okay, stop. So you have stenosis, right?
Yeah, I
Spinal
do.
stenosis. Okay. How much have you shrunk since you were 20 years old?
About an inch.
Okay. Do you have any like sciatica, any pain and numbness and burning in your feet?
Not in my feet, but in my the calves of my legs, very
Okay.
much so, and in my
Okay.
knee.
Okay. Now, do you have anything going on in your hands and your wrists, your arms and your neck?
I got a shaky hand. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any tinnitus or ringing in the ears?
In the past, I have.
Okay. Do you have any balance issues?
Not now, but in the past I did. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any irregular heart rate or fast heart rate? Okay. Anything going on with your lungs? Any hiccups or COPD, anything like that?
I got a heavy cough, a deep cough.
Okay. And they're not productive. They're not caused by a cold or anything like that, just dry cough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called COPD. And how old are you?
I'm 63.
Okay. And let's see here. Are you coloring your hair?
Well, a little bit. I'm trying to go
Yeah.
for the natural
Okay.
stuff. But anything.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs?
I have some spider veins.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the spider veins and the gray hair, okay, and the cough are all kind of due to the same thing. Okay. These are all due to osteoporosis of the skull. And I want you to get that book. It's all in your head. You'll see yourself in there. Okay.
Okay.
And it goes through all the 25 different diseases you get. And usually when people get osteoporosis of the skull, they'll have 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 of those 25 different diseases. And doctors say, oh, you've got bad genes. We need to send you to a neurologist, which is his golf buddy. We need to send you to a gastroenterologist, who's his brother, okay, and so forth. When really all you have to do is get rid of the osteoporosis of the skull and all your problems go away. Okay, so we're going to start there, okay? You're going to have a great story. So if you would call us every a couple of months, it'll be wonderful. And what is your body weight?
155.
155. Okay. So I want you to get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, iron, oats, no sugar. Okay. Then I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you to take our MSM, take 2 of those, take 3 twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's 3 twice a day of the MSM, 3 twice a day of our vitamin D3. That's 2 bottles a month. Our glucogel, take 5 of the capsules twice a day, or an ounce twice a day of the liquid, either one of the glucogel. This will rebuild your skull. This will rebuild your vertebrae, and also it'll rebuild your disc. You'll regain the height you've lost. Don't let them remove your vertebrae and put steel plates in your back and all that kind of stuff. You look pretty. Are you taking a painkiller right now, or you don't need it?
I don't have any pain at all except in my legs.
Okay, good. Yeah. See, this is all resolvable with a change in diet and a supplement program. So at your age, you have what so many, let's see here. I said your age, tell me your age. You're 65. Okay, 63, 65. Yeah, okay. At your age, there's so many Americans that have the same array of problems you have because they're all due to nutritional deficiencies. Most of them are due to bone problems. Okay. Have you ever been anemic where the doctor told you to take some iron pills or anything like that
Yeah, actually,
recently?
yes.
Yeah, it means your bone marrow is dead because you can't make enough red blood cells. Did he ever give you an iron shot?
No, I just take the pills. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, well, guess what? You're going to get maximum benefit when you get rid of all the bad foods so you can absorb them.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. And so, yeah, you're going to have a great story. Please call us every couple of weeks. Anytime you go to the doctor and you get some kind of response from them, invariably when you get well and you get better and you don't have to have the surgery and everything, they say, well, you know, just keep doing what you're doing and I'll see you in 6 months. And you should ask them, well, don't you want to know what I'm doing? No, I don't need to know that, just because if they hear it, then they've got to tell their other patients about it.
Yeah.
And then they can't afford to pay the tuition for their kids' college. You get it?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, we're money.
Yes. Well, my doctor wouldn't do that. He belongs to my church. I've heard that so many times. Well, where does a wolf go to find a lamb? To the flock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you
Wallach.
so much, Doc.
Thank you, Leah, for your patience. And next, Dr. Wallach, is a quick question from
Okay.
Sandra. Sandra has a question about safe water. Some cities add fluoride to water. She wants to know if I boil it, will it remove the fluoride, and how long would she be able to boil it for, or should she?
No, none, no. Okay. Basically, we have the safest water on earth. It's called Icelandic water, and she can have that. It's got the volcano minerals in it from Iceland, Icelandic water. We had it for a long time, and a couple of years ago, we dropped it because we wanted to triple the price because we were selling so much. And so we dropped it because they wanted to triple the price, and they came back to us begging on their hands and knees. You're the only ones that can, you know, sell our Icelandic water. Well, give us the original price. Okay. So now we have the Icelandic water back, and I make my supplements by putting the powders and stuff like that into the Icelandic water. Okay. And that way you don't have to worry about any pollutants. There's no pollutants. There's no factories or anything there. There's no dirty water. It's all volcanic minerals, clean water. You don't have to worry about all this extra effort and stuff to worry about and do and so on. So use the Icelandic water. And I go through 3 quarts a day. I use it for my juju in the morning for breakfast, you know, my healthy brain and start pack, healthy brain and heart pack. I do it again at dinner time. And then during the day, I'll drink it along with my rebound. I'll put my rebound powder sticks in the Icelandic water. And so that works. And don't forget the colloidal silver. Don't forget the hand sanitizer. Don't forget the pink Himalayan salt. And don't forget to get a hold of the books and the CDs and DVDs. And the newest one, of course, is the Manchurian Prescription, which we talked about. Manchurian Prescription. You will love it. It's just, I mean, it's the newest thing we've got. And it goes along with the Red Warning Light CD, which pharmacist Keith and I did. It goes into all the pre-existing conditions that set you up for a bad outcome from the COVID and what to do about them. So thank you so much. Rebecca, you did a fabulous job as usual. Thank you, John Teeth. Thank you, all the team. And Nasima.
And Ruth Ellen.
And Ruth Ellen.
Yeah, we are out of time, Dr. Wallach. We still had
Okay.
a few hands up, and I apologize to those who weren't.
Well, they can
able-
call me on the radio. Call me on the radio.
There you go. So Dr. Wallach is on the radio from noon
Noon to 1
to
Pacific
1
time
Pacific
and
time.
1 to 2 Pacific time. Okay, the first hour is 1-888-379-2552. 1-888-379-2552.
And the second hour?
Oh, the second hour is 1-877-912-7529.
There you go. Well, you're sharp. I want to be like you, Dr. Wallach. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Another great show with Ask Doc Live and the amazing Dr. Joel Wallach. We thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, on our website, askdoclive.com, we do have the recording, or will have the recording of this show very shortly, because Jonty is the man and on it. And we are here every Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific.
Great
time.
team, great team.
I love my team. And we love you, Dr. Wallach.
Very sweet,
Everybody
thank you.
Have a fabulous rest of the day. On behalf of myself and my team, just be empowered. There's so many things that we can do for ourselves without having to fill our bodies with chemicals, because we are not chemical deficient. We're nutrient deficient, folks. And it's so easy to correct. Follow the doctor. Give him 90 days, because it really does work. Bye for now, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.